The pace on technology.
Oh, can we go back to my second slide? Discipline does not equal bureaucracy. Like, let's just be very clear. Look, yeah, we got to move fast, right? Like, this really is, we have to be able to adapt. We cannot be stuck with the bureaucracy. I think most folks who've worked with me a long time will tell you I'm a bureaucracy hacker, right? Like, that's what I live for. I live for people telling me why I can't do something that's written down or that I'm already allowed to do because of an interpretation, also known as a barracks lawyer. And I go out and I write a policy that says, yep, this is what we're doing, right? I fundamentally don't think that we have that problem. I think culturally we may have some of those challenges, but I think there's enough folks right now in the Army and in the department where we've got a lot of folks in critical positions right now that are all about hacking that bureaucracy, right? And not allowing, in some cases, decades of practice remain that don't need to. And I think my team will tell you right now, every time I look at something, well, we can't do that because of what? When was that written? 1992. I'm like, geez, I wasn't even in high school. I'm like, does that even count anymore? And then I look at it and I'm like, wow, this thing is not just outdated, it doesn't even make sense, right? And they're like, well, that's what's stopping us. I'm like, well, rescind that. Like, we've got the power of the pen, go do it. You know, I think there's some that are a little bit bigger, right? I think on the data side, we've got a lot of work to do, to get some of that fixed. But for the most part, I haven't run into anything, and there's a bunch of folks who've worked for me out here, and I always say this, I have yet, as the Intel guy, when I was at A&S, I was at DoD CIO, I never ran into a real thing where the policy said I couldn't do it. I still haven't found this mythical thing that says, nope, you can't do that, right? Because every policy has an ETP, that's a real thing. It's usually the last line, nobody gets that line. And then the other piece is just, like, people make their own policy, right? Color of law rulings, as I call them. We're gonna interpret it this way. So there's some work that we need to do. This is where we got to be a little bit self-reflective too as we go through problems. And I will say this, right? I'm the first one, I will always be the guy that says yes, almost exclusively, by the way. I'm like, yeah, we could do that. Like, here's how I would write this. Do you guys have any ideas? I'm looking for the people that say no, right? And trying to understand the why of the no.